In 1620, a group of people decided to leave Great Britain to establish a new life that would allow them religious freedom in a brand new land. We know this group of people as the Pilgrims. They came across the ocean in the Mayflower. They settled their colony at Plymouth in what is now known as Massachusetts. This is a picture of a recreation of the first colonies in America. More and more people continued coming to what was known as New England. The original 13 British colonies were New Hampshire, Massachusetts, New York, Rhode Island, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. As the colonies were growing in population and influence, they needed more order and structure to growing problems, so the colonists established what is known as a Charter of Privileges. With the Charter of Privileges, 3 kinds of colonies were organized and existed at this time. The first was a proprietary colony. This was controlled by the wealthiest in the colony. They were the ones who chose who would govern over the people. The next colony was the royal colony. This was controlled by England. The crown appointed the people that would govern over the colony. The charter colonies were controlled by the people, and the people chose those who would govern over them. The New England colonists were excited and happy to be in their new lives and living the way they wanted. But with this new adventure came many challenges. This was new territory, and they needed to learn how to farm and produce food so they could survive. Many people died from starvation and sickness. It was common for them to get sick with yellow fever from polluted water from the rivers. There were also rumors of rebellion within different colonies. They also faced trouble with the Native Americans, unsure of whether they were friend or foe. Even though the colonists were living clear across the ocean, far away from New England, they were still under the control of Great Britain. The colonists were required to pay taxes, and they found ways to avoid this by smuggling their goods. When Great Britain found out about this, they were very angry, so they tightened control over them. Great Britain was in debt because of the war with France, and needed revenue. So they figured out a way to solve their problem and started the Sugar Act. The colonists were now required to pay a tax on sugar and molasses, and it also put a tax on silk, wine, coffee, and indigo. The colonists continued to grow in frustration, and the final straw for them was the Stamp Act. This required the colonists to buy stamps that had to be used on most printed material, from newspaper to playing cards. The colonists were enraged by this, and the Virginia colony started speaking out against the British. As a result, the Sons of Liberty were formed by Samuel Adams. The colonists were ready to battle for their freedom. The original 13 colonies paved way for a new land and a new people.